how's the tour been going so far?
Really good.
Yeah.
It's just the early stages because the album's not out yet. So we were unveiling some new songs. They're going over really well. It's a lot of fun to play them.
Have people actually known some of the songs, or do you think that? I guess the 100 newer.
Yeah, there's that one, and then I guess people watch like shows on YouTube, really crappy phone tape shows. People I think are getting kind of familiar with the other live songs.
Is it weird when you're like up there and people are singing back to you like songs?
It's a different age. I think it's definitely a different age from when we put out our last record. I think we saw that right away when we did our these shows in Canada for Coachella, and we played some really smaller cities like Kitchener and like London and Winnipeg, and then almost immediately like people were singing back songs like a show down the line. And at first it took me a while personally to figure out like how did they know this, and it's just the age of YouTube, you know.
Right. Well, I guess you guys were on this cover of Spin, I guess 2 years ago when it came out. So other than the advent of YouTube, like what else has changed for you guys since the last time you were on the cover? Anything?
In the world or in our world?
Mostly for you guys. What feels different with you guys sort of being on the cover now since the last time you guys were in that position?
I think the last time our first two records became kind of one long campaign for us. We never really took a break. It was just like one long ride. So we were kind of still really in the thick of this extended tour mode, really kind of just admired in rock and the road. And now I feel like we're just starting to get back out on the road, and we're I think very focused, and we had a rest, and we made a new record. Everything just sort of feels sort of fresher and new now.
So before, basically, in your guys' mind, like those first two records are almost like a part of the same. I mean, you were writing one while touring the other, and it was all sort of.
Well, we did. I mean, we took a little break after the first one and wrote, probably the majority of the songs from the second record after we were done with the first. But there was just hardly any break, and it really was.
It was hardly a break at all. It was like 3 months between the last show and when we went to record. Right, that's Antics. So that's the thing. There's a break sometimes like by being back in New York City, but that's different than touring and so forth.
But it's also kind of different. Whereas like the first record, maybe to a certain extent, the second one, you're sort of proving yourselves, introducing yourselves. Now it's sort of like now people are waiting for this, and there's a different kind of anticipation. It's like now you get to sort of return, and people are already there's maybe more anticipation.
Well, and I think we had time to gather ourselves, and I think the process of the first two records, we all learned a lot about the road, about writing music, about just the whole game that this is. So I do feel like we're kind of in a new maturity.
So what are you guys doing differently this time?
On the road?
Or just in general, how are you sort of incorporating these lessons?
I don't know. It's subtle and nuanced. Yeah, and it's just how you almost how you address what's happening around you a little bit.
What about even things like things like cover sheets and stuff like that? Like how do you are you guys sort of comfortable doing these kinds of things? Is it fun? Is it a kick? Or is it just sort of like something else that sort of happens in this blur of a tour schedule? Or is it something you guys can actually step back and enjoy?
I think that just in general, I think we just have a better understanding of like you're saying what this is all about, what we're doing, and kind of pacing yourself and so forth. And I don't know, there's like a nice ease I think we kind of learned that we've only actually in some ways just learned recently, where we just kind of like pacing yourself. Like I don't know, blah 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 blah. Blah.
I think though when you work with a good, like I checked out this dude's website, and his work was really impressive and sort of a higher art kind of than your typical rock photo. So I was sort of braced to work with somebody good for the shoot, and I don't know, you kind of learn not to go outside of like your comfort zone, because you always regret it if you do anything stupid in the photo, and then also just like respect the photographer and like let them do the thing.
Does it also feel like you guys get to be a little bit more selective, and you guys get to do the things that you feel like you actually want to do, as opposed to just
We always fought for doing the things that we wanted to do, and we've done a pretty good job, I think, of never really, compromising what we want. But everything gets a little smoother the longer you do this, definitely.
But now you're sort of, all this is going on right now, and you're sort of in the thick of it. What are you most looking forward to in the next, month or two or three as the album comes out and everything starts to really pick up?
Just people hearing the record. I think it's kind of funny to tour this much before anyone's really heard the record. It's like every day you can wake up, cross off a day, you're getting closer to it finally being out. So I think that's the main thing. So talking about something that people haven't heard for so long, playing only a few songs that people don't know. I mean, it's great for. It's actually really good right now to play these shows and to see people's reactions because it's pretty pure. It's just to the live songs. And typically when, a band unveils like new material, an audience wants to hear the old stuff, the things that they've already had a chance to listen to on a recording. But people seem to have like a genuine interest, like what the new stuff's going to sound like from a live perspective. So that's great. But I think ultimately for me, I can't. The next step is just really, having the record out there, like let it be known.
Are people reacting the way you would have expected? Like the things that you were like, whether it's specific songs or specific parts of songs that you were sort of anticipating, like see what people's faces would be when that happened. Are you actually getting some of that? Or
I think it's kind of impossible because you spend so long with the song when you're writing it, and then you spend so long when you're recording it. So I don't know. To be able to, it's impossible for me to fathom what it's like for someone to experience it like in real time for the first time. So I don't know.
But you're seeing it off their face. I mean, you're seeing people react to it for the first time too.
Yeah, but it's a lot of information in our material. So I mean, generally you don't really. I mean, I guess when you hit a chorus to a song and they start to like get it, the second time around, sure you sense a reaction. But I don't know. I think I'm like Daniel. I just really want people to hear the album. There's one song out there at the moment, and it's sort of like it's one song. You gotta hear the record.
It's still like the first band ever that actually wished that their album had leaked. Right?
No. Our last record leaked like almost, it leaked like 2 weeks after we mastered it.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically, which was like, essentially 2 weeks after we finished it. So that was kind of crazy. And then we still had to so we had like a tour booked, everything like that. So it was out there, and all the reviews, like the previews for the shows, were all talking about the record as if it had been released, but it had like 2.5 months to go before it was actually coming out.
This seems more normal, like there's the proper like anticipation build up.
Well, that's the thing about this. To me, like it's not the leaking isn't so much about. It's not like so much that like, oh yeah, people can buy the record and so forth, and it's just out there. It's more of like killing the anticipation of the day a record comes out. Like I really do. Those are like some of my best memories as a music fan, as a kid. It's like can't wait, can't wait to go to the record store that day. That, a band that you like is putting out a new record, and then you just take it home and you study it, you listen to it, and it becomes a part of you in a way. But when you can just kind of take it, it becomes cheaper. Like you're not really thinking about it. Mm-hmm. You're just kind of putting it on. You're just doing this. It's like you're not really thinking about what went into it. So the anticipation, I think, it's like I don't know. It's a good anticipation. I don't know if people always realize that, but it's good to kind of like anticipate these things. Like you can't take it. You have to wait. It makes it that much better.
And now you get to watch people sort of almost be like anxious in front of you.
But we feel that too. That's the funny thing.
Right.
But it is. It's something to protect. I think is the tradition of release dates.